What?
You get this only nowhere else but you. Kevin is accurate. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're not gonna a carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the play.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish.
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say? What can I say?
Wow. I've never watched a Ravens game and been that embarrassed to be a Baltimore sports fan. That I have never in my life watched a Ravens game and been embarrassed to be a Baltimore sports fan, but that's where we are in the state of the Baltimore Ravens. Look at the tweets. You can see national analysts put it out there. Whoever you want to follow, they're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the big, bad Baltimore Ravens, the Super Bowl frontrunners, the odds-on favorite to win it all in 2025 is every other team's get-right game. That's where we're at. The Baltimore Ravens are a get-right game for all of the National Football League. That's where we are. $44-10. And it honestly, if it you can say that the Texans were throwing at the end and stuff, they could have put 50 up if they wanted. They could have put 50 up if they wanted. If the Houston Texans wanted to put 50 up, if they wanted to put 60 up, they could have. This defense, this is just, we could talk about it. Let's talk about the injuries. That laundry list of injuries: Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley, everyone out. Marlon Humphrey, Lamar Jackson. There were guys you knew were going to be out late. So not really surprises, but late additions were Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley. And let's be honest, first drive, Texans drive down and score, and you're like, okay, are we going to have to try to win a shootout with Cooper Rush? You can't win a shootout with Cooper Rush. That was so hard to watch. That was so hard to watch. I keep reiterating, never in my life have I watched a Ravens game and been that embarrassed to be a Ravens fan. Ravens are the laughing stock of the National Football League. That is where we are at. The Ravens are everyone's get-right game. Just simple as that. If you're a little confused, though, I'll address it now a few minutes in about why I'm over on the Ryan Ripken Show channel at this moment. If you are on YouTube, well, we decided that, hey, for my blurbs right after the game, it's just going to be me. It's going to be talking for about 15, 20, 25 minutes about my instant reaction to the game. That's going to live on over here at the Ryan Ripken Show channel. It's going to be the Ryan Ripken Show post-game shows. And then when you want to see Kevin and Zach react later tonight to continue the conversation, let's be honest, talk about anything football besides this embarrassment of the game, go subscribe to that channel. Kevin and I will be live there, but with it just being me, wanted to do it on this platform. Listen, let's not waste any time. I feel like I've talked about how this is an embarrassment a million times already, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and we're going to talk about it a million times more, because that's what this was. It felt like this team, even beaten up and everything, we watched a very beat up 49ers team go up against LA. I want to say go into LA. They went down the street. And they won. They found a way. Ravens, yeah, you could say probably a little bit more beat up, but 44 to 10 beat up? Not compete beat up? Have no fire in your team beat up? I mean, towards the end, that one CJ Stroud going down and then the Nick Chubb, 2 long runs down the right sideline. Guys gave up on defense. That last, we can talk about, did sun get in his eyes on that last interception that Cooper Rush threw with Rashad Bateman. Rashad stopped running. You have the Mark Andrews dropped pass, goes right to the Texans for a touchdown or for an interception. It's bad. I mean, this is the worst loss historically in the John Harbaugh era. When you look at everything, when you look at the score, when you look at how they were outgained, all that, this was on the stat sheet the worst game in the John Harbaugh era. So it really is just it's a bad that was the worst game I've ever seen the Ravens play. Man, have we seen some bad ones. But I think if you all give me a thumbs up if you're ready to hop on. Yeah, I mean, as ready as we'll ever be. Actually, I have a guest. And Kevin and Zach is later, but we got Kevin and Rip right now. Ryan, that was a ball game.
Yeah, that was a ball game. And we got a lot to digest, for so many different reasons. And there's no words that really can be said. Also, I feel like I'm just a ghost. And that's kind of like what it felt like this Ravens team has become. Like it's a shell of itself,
Yeah.
The ghost of Ravens past wouldn't believe what's happened on the field. Heck,
Yeah.
Houston's never won in Baltimore. That's the least concerning of this thing.
Yeah.
The Ravens, the game felt like it was over as soon as CJ Stroud and the offense went down the field on the first drive, and then again, and then again, and then again.
Yeah.
And you can just look around. And I think that was the first time, even more so than the Chiefs game, where you felt that the belief wasn't actually on the field, like it was gone. And I think of all the things, I think if there's any issue that people want to say about the Ravens, losing by 30 plus at home, I don't care who's on your team. And I went back and was listening to Ian Eagle and JJ Watt, and you could see the comments online, and everyone probably at home watching. The constant comments were, "I don't recognize this team." like this organization. I think that's the hard thing that Ravens fans are going to have to live with. Sucks.
Yeah, and that's what's. I mean, you can look at you can say it's excuses or whatever. They were extremely beat up today. Like, this is as beat up as a team can get when you have all. I think it's like their top 6 guys, salary cap wise, were all out today. But I don't even think that's like. We've seen this team beat up, go out there, and yeah, they might, I was talking to people earlier about this. Like, yeah, we've had to go into games against teams without Lamar, with a super beat up team. And yes, they've lost most of those games, but they've been competitive. It's been last second, the Ravens couldn't pull it out. Ravens couldn't get over the hump. Oh, you really missed Lamar in that last quarter. This was uncompetitive. Like, it felt like after, the Texans go down, score, Ravens go down, and you kick the field goal, settle there, and then Texans go touchdown, you go and you can't score, can't move the ball, and then you're sitting there and you're like, oh boy, this is where we're at. This thing could get out of hand, and it did. I mean, it just was, it was flat out. It felt like the guys weren't out there. And I don't want to say that they didn't care, but it just felt like after halftime, especially, it felt like everyone on that field on both sides was like, let's all get to the showers early today.
I like to describe this in some cases when it's rough and you go out there and you still got to play, and it's not because you aren't putting in effort in practice. Like, I don't think it's anything with that. I think it's just you've now lost the confidence that you can go out there and compete. And the reason why I bring that up is so in Norfolk, when I was playing for the Tides, go Tides, for baseball, and it was hard for us to win. And then the big league team in the majors, they couldn't win. They were the worst team in baseball. And the combination of guys trying to go to work and figure it out, and then you find ways to lose.
Yeah.
And then you get your ass kicked. So, like, where I was going with this with football season, if the Ravens had found a way to beat Buffalo, they had found a way to beat Detroit, you sit there and go, okay, you can watch this, but now you find different ways to lose. So you lose the games you could possibly win, and then you get smacked, and your confidence of, well, wait a minute, we're not as good as we think we are. We can't find any way to go out there and get a W here. And I think that's the part of it. And you can see it when you're confident too. Like that's like the saying, when you play with confidence, you feel like you play like you got nothing to lose. You go out there flying around.
Yeah.
I would argue with the 49ers because they won on Thursday night. A great game plan. They came fired up and they got off to a good start. But you know what they also did? They survived with Mac Jones at New Orleans, getting a stop. Yeah. They won in Seattle and made a play at the end where the Seahawks were about to win that game.
Yeah.
And so where I go with that is when you're decimated but you win, you can still believe you can do it. With the Ravens, with everything that's happened, you could sense it, you could feel it, and then you want to say the dam's broken, Zach. Maybe it is. Maybe it's been broken. But the will now is beyond tested. And we don't have to wait till Monday when we do our live show on this channel from 4 to 6 to talk about not if the Ravens win or lose next week against the Rams.
Yeah.
What type of game it turns out to be, because if it is like this, Zach, then the season will be over after week 6.
Yeah.
But if that is the reality. That is where it's come to now, which no one could have seen coming when the Ravens started the season off here. And now on October 5th, have the same record as the Cleveland Browns, have a worse record than the Carolina Panthers, same record as the Miami Dolphins. It's a tough place to be.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where this is an organization that you never thought and you never questioned mentally if they would be prepared, in recent years. And it feels like this right now it's not even to the point of, okay, how do you win next week? It's kind of like you said, next week we're on, okay, do the Rams score 75? Do we see one of those? And that's what the Ravens have been put at. That is the state of this team. It's been teams get right game. You now have a Rams team that coming into this, they need a win now. Coming off, they just got that loss to San Francisco. They weren't happy. They had to sneak a win against Indianapolis. That if Mitchell doesn't fumble it through the end zone is probably a loss. They're trying to get right. Well, the Ravens have unfortunately been everyone's get right game. And so now if you're in the Ravens, we talk about having momentum. And, we talked earlier in the year with, Joe Thomas, Ross Tucker, and they were saying the same things of like momentum's a thing and you can feel it. Right now, there's negative momentum. They are, they're sky falling. This is as bad as I've ever seen it in Baltimore. And it looks like you're destined for 1-5. Now get everyone healthy. And then the bed you've made is if you want to make the playoffs, you probably have to win out and only lose one, maybe two more games. If you do end up dropping it to the Rams, like everyone's assuming, you've made this a situation where it's no longer, hey, this is, you can squeak out of this and, just kind of rely on a weaker middle part of the schedule. Something's got to change, and I don't know if it is going to be. I know I see people talk about Zach Orr in the chat, and that's been a big thing. Personally, I don't think they make a move until, if they are to move on from him, until after the Rams, just because they're going to give the new guy the bye week. I feel like just knowing this organization and how they work, they also probably don't want the new defensive coordinator's first game to be against a rested LA Rams team. And that be the first
Rams team too.
Yeah. Like that's a tough task. Like now this team, you're seeing there with negative momentum. I mean, you feel 6 feet under. Oh, we got a pissed off Sean McVay led Rams team with Matthew Stafford playing like an MVP caliber quarterback and still took a loss. Now they're coming in. They want to get back on the horse. They want to see one in the win column. I mean, this is hell. I'll say it. If you would have taken me back to that, I think it was like 3rd and 8 or something, the Ravens up 3 scores against Buffalo. And, if you get off the field there, it's pretty much over. You look at them, go back then and tell me, hey, the Ravens look like they're destined for 1-5. I'd be like, what happened here? And that's where it's been. It's been an absolute I don't even have the word for it. Like, I genuinely don't.
If you're maybe the only team that feels like, we'll find out after this 4 p.m. game with the Chargers and the Commanders, but if you're a Maryland region fan, it's not the best weekend for you. The Terps blow a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, get outscored 21-0. The Ravens lose by 100,000 points, where like literally, I think that was the quickest the game's ever gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
That I can remember. Like as far as what the thoughts were going into this game. Yeah, and then the Commanders, if they win later, then hey, that's great for them. But if they lose, then it's just brutal for everyone. And that the Terps, that stung. Ravens fans, woof. But if you're new to the channel, Ryan Ripken Show, we do this live every Monday, Wednesday, Sunday mornings, and then we'll react for a quick blurb after, because Kevin and Zach react. That's like your guys' reaction, a part of Ryan Ripken Media over on the other channel. So make sure you're subscribed. Just Kevin has to be locked on Kevin for a lot. So Zach's going to be on here giving the quick feel. And then if I'm able to jump on here, we'll talk about it. We can talk it out. We can take a deep breath. Or if you want to scream, shout, I wouldn't blame you either. The reality is, Zach, like with baseball and sports, there's a 30-minute rule that I like to try to say, like 30 minutes and you got to try to let it go. Unfortunately for football, it's a little bit harder to do that because it's one game a week and you sit on it. Baseball, you got to move on to the next day. You have to go. Yeah. But it's hard to implement that 30-minute rule right now for Ravens fans, because it's you feel it and you see it potentially all slipping away. And honestly, Zach, I think the bigger part is that they lost to the Texans, but it was competitive, and you're able to comes down to the end, you're still feeling really good about like what could be.
Yeah.
But can't say that's the case right now here.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Man, that Texans team, they came out there ready to kick butt, and that's what they did. And you got to give it to them. But the Ravens, like you said, there's one thing. It would be one thing if the Ravens had a classic, they're down and out, but they will this team and Cooper rushing them. They lose on a last-second field goal, and you're sitting there and you're going, gosh, man, that sucked. Like, we were right there. This team fought their ass off. They were right there in the final moments, and they couldn't find a way to close it. But like you said, you're sitting there going, okay, we saw some things from some guys. I mean, I hate to be this way. I saw like an 8-yard end around to Keaton Mitchell, and like that was the highlight. Like DeAndre Hopkins had a really cool catch. That was the highlight.
That first drive.
First drive
was good.
Like you were excited about that. Derrick Henry, 15 carries for 33 yards. I mean, they sold out to stop the run, and they forced Cooper Rush to beat him, and he didn't. I mean, Zay Flowers had a typical Zay Flowers day these days, 5 receptions, 72 yards, majority coming on that 56-yard deep ball. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 receptions for 46 yards. Andrews, 2 for 22. Obviously had the drop that led to the interception. It just felt like this team, they couldn't get anything going offensively. Defensively, they just were outmatched and outnumbered. It felt like there were times it felt like they were playing 22 on 11 on defense, where it was like, how did guys get open? How did these holes get opened? Like, you were just watching, and that's something you don't expect from the Ravens. And that's why I couldn't agree more with what JJ Watt and Nine Eagle were saying. This is not a Ravens team that you expect that. Like, this is not, you do not expect this type of effort and game from the Baltimore Ravens.
I think the bigger part now, and this is, I think, a huge part, is where a team has to have that respect, Zach. Like they know coming to Baltimore can be daunting.
Yeah.
That's gone. That's gone. That feeling of it still can be tough. No team now around. Let me make this clear. Yeah. Teams in the NFL are going to respect their opponent. Always are going to. But they don't fear Baltimore anymore. Earlier in the year, you lost some tough games. There was still fear. This one, people are not going to be afraid to play the Baltimore Ravens because the Ravens aren't exactly sure the identity of who they are. And when you don't know who you are, it's really hard to really impose your will on another team. And that's what Houston did today. They smelled blood in the water, Zach, and they went for the kill. And then every time after, it didn't matter what the Ravens tried to do. And here we are. But we could talk about it for days, for hours, for months. Again, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show live Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays here. And we'll do more reactions on here just because during football season, Kevin and Zach over on Kevin and Zach React, make sure you like and subscribe there. Kevin has to be locked on Kevin. And so it gives a chance for everyone to come on here for a quick minute. So, Zach, appreciate you taking the time. You'll be running the show for it probably like 95% of the time.
Yeah.
And the other part, too, for all of our guests, we do have some great guests that are in the lineup. So check out that on the rest of the channel here. Oh, and Zach, might need to go take a shot. Might need to
yeah, definitely feels like one of those nights after that game. It was hard to watch at times. That was not a football team that I recognized. That's for sure.
Not fun.
Not fun.
Not fun. Why don't you? I mean, I'll let you close it on down here.
Yeah. Yep. So that's going to do it for our first little Ryan Ripken Show post-game reaction. We will be live, Kevin and I, on Kevin and Zach React after Sunday Night Football. If you want to talk more about this or talk more honestly about football games as a whole, the fact that Tyler Warren had 44 receiving yards in the first half and then didn't get another target besides an OPI that was, don't know where that was called from. that kind of cost some people maybe some parlays. So we'll react to everything that happened around football. Did the Eagles lose? Did that happen? Or is that game still? It did. It did. Eagles lose. So if you want to react to everything around football, come join us after Sunday Night Football over on Kevin and Zach React. We'll also talk a little bit more about this Ravens game, get Kevin's reaction and all of that. Hit that like and subscribe button. But that's going to do it for the first ever Ryan Ripken Show post-game reaction. We'll see you all next time.